six rounds, I guess, on T side would be where you'd be okay with.
So that's what we can see maybe Na'Vi aiming for, around that 6, 7 marker, something like that is starting to work for. So ladies and gents, let's get loud. Na'Vi up against EnVy, final map here in the best of 3. They're going head to head into this pistol. And straight away, it looks like we might be seeing these guys set up for something. A Molly as a first round purchase.
Yeah. We do see that a lot of nowadays, using that $600 on the CT side for the Molly. It's a good way to slow down an attack, a rush, especially like you need to have smokes and stuff on this map usually. Even though it seems like Na'Vi opted not to have any, but normally you have teams buying some smokes and flashes to make their executes work.
So 1 minute on the board right about now. Zeus, Guardian, and Edward heading over towards A, using long and a little bit of mid there. MBK at the top with the CZ, and Starix and C's over towards B. So have to see where they decide to actually execute this map. Never really allowed for those last-minute rotates, so Na'Vi would have to commit. It looks like Starix and C's getting ready for drop, and they might be trying to sandwich in towards this A side. It's going to be MBK stuck in between, but that CZ comes in strong, and Starix now going to have to push through, but Ringer Roses, round we go, and Zeus supports, takes down MBK, and now just Happy and Shox on the site. Shox dances between the bullets. The play coming through, Guardian delivers. This is looking good for the T side for a starting round, cleaning up well, and now just Keo in this 1v3 bomb has gone down. And I think he knows this might be a bit of a tough one, and a great start for Na'Vi, picking up the first pistol.
Yeah, nice play from Na'Vi, definitely. Early on, it seemed like NBK, having got that 1 kill in connector, bought enough time for EnVy to start rotating. But end of the day, Happy and Shox on A side, unable to get the kills, and Na'Vi 1-0. Nice score. Nice round.
Yeah, really nicely done. Zeus as well, 3 kills that round. Didn't really even see him picking them up that much, but it was just a really well executed bit of play. But this looks a little bit more decisive very early on. Maybe going to put the Mac 10 to use his Headwood, picking that one up. And the AK is very early purchased. Big investment, and that's going to be costly. Smith taking down Starix so early on with just that P250 and a little bit of head armor to boot. And you can see the Deagle ringing out shots from that B side. Every single player from the CT side, barring Shox, is already here, ready to go. And Shox around the backside does spot out 3 of the players. They're pushing in for this. This is a dangerous round. Happy and Shox picking up kills. It's turning on its head. And there we have it. Shox to close. And cornered in. Those AKs go over to the CT side.
Yeah, the straight-up plays that Na'Vi seems to like to throw in the second round just are not functioning. Yeah. So here we can see a key play from Shox.
Beautiful. Making mincemeat of the T side there. They're just ripped to shreds. 1-1.
There we go. Yeah, 1-1. That what looked like a good start for Na'Vi. Not so good anymore.
Certainly not. Now they're down to Tech9, so maybe they can find a little bit of that magic that the CT side did. An early exchange. Shox for Zeus, Edward for Shox. So AK in the hands now of the T side, with Edward actually, who's got full smokes. Well, A smoke, 2 flashes, 1 nade, and head armor. So
yeah, they fully commented that, like they've fully bought for their round. So they believe in the force of the Tech9 and a few smokes, not enough smoke and a few flashes. Let's see what they come up with.
UMP may not be so ideal, considering the amount of armor that is with the T side, and Happy's starting to go looking. Trying to find out where they are. Smiths and Keo might be told be awares because there's nothing here, but there was Edward waiting. Another 1-for-1 exchange. The T side losing out on numbers quite early on. Now with 40 seconds left, they're just going to try and push the site with the 1 player on it, and Happy is waiting. Happy tries to pounce into this. He's not getting anything. He's not connecting. Oh, he had the opportunity of a lifetime to stop him. But now maybe Na'Vi have a bit of a window of opportunity here. Smiths, however, steps out from connector, gets the double, and makes it a triple.
Yeah, huge play by Smiths there. This is basically denying it on his own. 3-on-3 usually, theoretically, I think it favors the attacking side, because that's gonna, most likely you're gonna have a side, well, most definitely you're gonna have a side with only just 1 defending it. But you know, Smiths just picking up the slack there in the end, and keeping EnVyUs on the lead 2-1, and forcing an equal from Na'Vi.
Yeah, not so much armor, not so many Tech9s.
Nope.
And you can see why Shox are getting quite aggressive, taking down Edward, and these guys looking like they're getting fairly happy to be aggressive in this, and Boost up from Keo there, going to try and challenge out as NBK waits to see what the T-side bring. Getting a little closer, Happy from the back does get 2. So this is looking like it should. A nice clean round comes out, only losing Happy there, who did pick up the double regardless. So good scoreline so far building for Envy, but I'm not going to read too much into it just yet, because it seems that Na'Vi can wake up at any point and turn the scoreline on its head.
Yeah, they're going full AK. On Navi's side, they didn't have money to invest on an AWP, so let's see what kind of strat they're going to come up with. Money-wise, Envy is still not really holding a huge bank, but if Envy can string a few more rounds, then it's going to look scary for Na'Vi, definitely. So these couple of rounds are going to be very crucial on dictating how this half is going to go. So, like I said, I feel like they need about 6 rounds to have a cushion to play with in second half.
Yeah, and it looks like an aggressive push from 3 players through towards the A side, and it's worked out poorly for the CTs. They've just been absolutely ripped to shreds by those entry kills, as you mentioned, coming in from the T side, taking down 2. Smokes go down, complete control of the site in to the Na'Vi side. Shox tries to make the most of that pop flash through the window, not going to have any of it. There's now just Happy and NBK left in a world of trouble. Might get one on the way out towards C's, but Zeus certainly looking willing to avenge, and will do manage that. And NBK, nowhere to go. It's going to be Na'Vi with a brilliant entry towards that site, and showing that they can certainly compete with the best.
Definitely, yeah, nice 2 entry kills on the site. That pretty much sealed the deal. You know, B was lost at that point when those 2 kills came on the board right away after that initial push. Didn't leave Envy really much of a chance for a retake. It's a really hard site to retake after losing it like that. And yeah, seems like Envy is going to force buy it. Considering the situation, this is going to be, it's a bit of a risk that they decided to take, but a lot of the times they actually seem to capitalize on this risk. So let's see how it turns out this time.
And NBK just sitting in by connected by drop with only the CZ, so nothing going to come out of that one. And Starix will get himself very early into this round. Smith's going to have to pick up the slack and not going to have much more luck either. Seized follows up, and this is looking rather good for the T side until right about then. Keo finding 2 of them on their way towards the B side, and now Shox, last man alive, 1v2 here. Bomb not down. Switches up to the AK, pushes in, gets down Starix, 1v1 here. Zeus backing through the smoke, finding a position, going around the world, trying to catch Shox off on the push, and oh, Shox! A man who can constantly find these situations in his favor, picking up 3 that round and getting another one on the board.
Yeah, I feel like he got the first kill too easy, actually. Whoever was pushing that door to connector gave it away for him, and then he just showed some Shox magic there. But other than that, Na'Vi just played it very nicely. Starix getting an entry kill, then C's getting another entry kill. Seemed like there was nothing stopping Na'Vi from picking up that round, except Shox happened.
There's always that one element, isn't there? There's a few of these players that can just go above and beyond what you can ever predict, and Shox being one of them. We've seen Guardian doing the same, and now we're just speaking of Shox.
Team play is a very huge part of Counter-Strike. It is the most fundamental part of Counter-Strike, but there are moments when individual like greatness, such as players like Shox have, that will decide what happens in that round. But you cannot simply rely on that happening every single time.
No, it's something once in God knows how many rounds if someone counted it that you could pull off something like that. And especially against a team like Na'Vi, you don't expect them to lose 1v3s against people in an after plant.
Yeah, at this stage of the tournament, you don't expect those to happen every other round.
So you guys know the gravity. We'll be seeing Guardian actually pick up the ult this time, so Guardian up against Shox. The angle is being watched over. It is a pixel shot, and you get maybe a second to hit this. So if he does get it, it'll be very impressive. You can see Guardian starting to peer in, and Guardian will have the angle. Crouch comes out. Guardian going to remain dominant in this ult battle so far. As the rest of the T-side push. Do they expect Happy here? I don't think they do. Nice spray control on the first. Not going to get a second. Guardian is starting to find that form very early. Seized. Finding 1. NBK showing him how it's done, though. NBK with 2 this round. Huge kills. Yeah,
NBK is saving the day. It seems like basically he was the difference maker. NBK is hopping.
Something that we haven't seen, NBK doing for a consistent long time. He's obviously known for some of his AWP abilities here. There's no denying that, but Often Smiths will be the one and/or Shocks, both playing it very well at the moment. Shocks opting for it this time. And the T side struggling for cash here, though. They are down to what we saw, not mountain much last time.
Yeah, the problem, the positive thing for them is that EnVyUs doesn't have a huge bank yet, even though it's likely going to be a 6-2 scoreline if ever EnVyUs by the end of this round. But at the same time, you know, they're easily going to slip away with this half as well, so they definitely need to start picking up. But the thing is that they've, like before with Envy on cash, it always went down, has gone down to very low situations, and if that keeps happening, you know, there's a big possibility that Navi is gonna scrape in a few rounds here and there, and which is gonna make give Envy a problem with the money situation, and then maybe they can turn it around and start building some rounds. Because I feel like I said, they need about 6 rounds here on the first half.
Well, Navi already have 2, so not a bad start for them. I think there is building blocks to be put in place, and we've seen what can happen. They seem to have these close rounds before, as you were saying, that once they kind of work out those, just that one step further, it seems to work perfectly for these guys. A bit of a switch up though. 3 players on B this time for the CT side. Happy and Shocked quite aggressively push forward on towards the side of A, so heading down by Long.
Yeah, it seems to be the way to play Cobble CT. You have 2 guys playing aggressively on A, and then you have 3 guys playing on B to begin with. And the 3rd guy starts playing more connector, and 2 guys playing deeper in B side.
Oh, nice little flash comes over. You can see Edward trying to make the most of it there, but it's actually mostly coming up for the T side at the moment until Shock stopped it in its tracks. Nicely done then, picking up Guardian and Zeus. Turning around, predicting that maybe there might be a follow-up, and that will be Starix going for it. Shocks delivers again, 3 this round. Seized. Gonna fall to Kio's fate. Not much to be done then.
No, not really. And now the thing is that this is going to help Envy build that bank we were just talking about, only losing 1 guy in that round. So that's a problem for Navi, that's for sure. And it so happened that Navi decided to push that long A halls, and Envy had 2-man stack over there with an op and an M4. Unfortunate for them. Good for Envy. And yeah, forced to an eco for Navi. And after this, they definitely need to step up their game, that's for sure. Because otherwise, it could end up being a landslide.
So far, we've really only seen Navi starting to excel when they get these opening kills, and I just don't see them being able to find them at the moment. And maybe this Tech-9 play will, but the Molly slowing it down. Shocks denies even Guardian to peek towards Sai, and this is looking like shooting fish in a barrel. And Edward, last man in this. His bomb is on the wrong side of that smoke, and not a great deal once again to be done by this man. He may be able to get something away from Happy here.
That's the Tech-9, so anything's possible. No,
exactly, everything is possible with the Tech-9, if only you believe.
It actually says in the game description that this weapon is inaccurate. I don't know who came up with that. I disagree with that statement.
Hey, look, it didn't kill him in 1 shot. MBK stays alive. They will maintain 4 players, and 8-2 is the scoreline. And as we said, Navi now need to kind of consider things. 8-2 is not looking good for them at this point. I think this is starting to become slightly more pressured now.
Well, yeah, maybe even timeout would have been similar to Dust 2. But maybe they know what they're doing, so they need to.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they know what they're doing.
Definitely. At this stage of the tournament, you really wish they do.
Well, something needs to be changed, and there's no 2 ways about that. 8-2 scoreline, you're not getting the entry frags, you're not getting these picks that you want. And
maybe keep it simple, like they did before. Like they just went in with a pop blast and quicker, speed it up. Seems to work better for them. And seems like we may just see something along those lines.
I'm hoping. Zeus looks like he might have either a smoke or a flash in hand.
Yeah, Kiyoshima's position though may just counter this completely.
Let's see if it does. Here we go. 1 flash towards the back of sight. Not going to really do much here. The push comes through. Actually starts to get 1, but as you predicted, Kio's position really hammering it through and not allowing them a foot towards the side. And you call it very early there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that simple push to B with the pop flash, but Kiyoshima's positioning, I think they probably felt they were going to try something similar because it worked so well last time.
Yeah.
So just great read by Envy. Just goes to show why they're this good and why they've been winning tournaments, why they keep winning matches, and just getting outplayed right now, Navi.
It's a very different stack as well for the CT side. Always adapting, it seems, and we saw this I think in the last round, but not the few prior. Only Shox now on towards A, basically, with the AWP pushed up a little early. MBK here, Shox still, even just the one-man band, manages to take down Guardian, so an early advantage came in, but was equalized. So a one-for-one trade, where does that put the T's? Does it really open up much for them, or does it mean they're just kind of on par?
It means that the cities need to rotate more. There's going to be more weakness on one side, for sure, compared to when there's 5 people left. So that's definitely always going to be a opportunity for the T's.
I love watching those little duels, Shox, seeing a glimpse of him, making a little sound, hoping Envy can peek, and just getting it in the bag. So now, drop down, being backed away from. You can see them watching the exits like hawks there. Smith does manage to claim seized, and it just seems one by one, the T-side are walking into the crosshairs of the CTs until finally Starix did get Smith down, but it's Keo again, the guy who just in the right place at the right time will get to and stops Na'Vi's any bit of confidence in its tracks. 10-2 is not looking good at all, I've got to say, and it looks like there is going to be another timeout here.
Yeah.
And another discussion coming for Na'Vi, and I think we theorized maybe the reason they didn't do it earlier was because they understood what they needed to do. They had a good mentality, like, okay, we just need to fix this. We just need to do this round, maybe. And it just didn't seem to come to place. Now, what do you think actually needs fixing for Na'Vi in this? What do you see going wrong?
Well, like I said before, they opted for that simple push to B, but EnVy was one step ahead, and they actually sort of anti-stratted that with their positioning. It seems like their picks, they're just sort of being they're being outread all the time. It's one of those things where it's like a snowball effect. You try to think of a new way to encounter what they're doing, but at the time your opponent is adjusting their defense on their assumptions on what you're doing. And when that snowball effect starts rolling against yourself, it's a bit of it's hard psychologically, because you're like, okay, we've tried this, we've tried that, we've tried like 5 different things. It seems like they're always going to be where we're at. So
they're always in our head as well.
Yeah, so that's sort of a situation where you're going to start getting a bit desperate on, okay, is anything going to actually work? That's a very tough question to really answer. Like, what are they going to do? Because at this point, it's more about EnVy just doing the right moves on their defense than it is Na'Vi doing the wrong decisions on the other T side, I feel like.
I'm there with you, Fnatic in the audience, in there kind of seeing exactly what happened with them up against Na'Vi not too long ago, having a very strong start to this, and Na'Vi really not finding much early on. And it looks like the discussions have slowly petered down. It looks like they may have worked out what they want to try. You can see the audience with face masks of actual Virtus Pro, if you haven't noticed. If you haven't noticed at home, there are actual face masks of the entirety of Virtus Pro in the crowd, which is really unnerving when you're not aware of it in the morning. You see Bialy walking past. However,
waking up next to a Taz over there, and, something along those lines, that'd be scary.
It would be a little bit spooky. However, I think Na'Vi are back now. I think they are just sitting down, buying up. Game is going back. So let's hope they haven't kind of thought themselves out of this game. They haven't overthought things. They just fixed the simple issues maybe that were going wrong for them. They feel a small tweak may do, or just that timeout to stop the momentum, anything that they can gain from it.
And definitely, like I said before, in earlier rounds, it always came down to very close situations. So they were obviously strategically doing right things. That's not the problem. They were just unable to close out the rounds. They were unable to window 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, and so forth. So I don't think strategically they were lacking that much, actually.
It looks like they're trying something a little different, a little quicker, and Happy and Shox might be on the receiving end. A lot of T players. Edward bursts in, but MBK and Happy are in the perfect position to receive the rest, and the T side getting shredded here. Edward, though, might have made a way through, but still 2 players lining up for Smiths. You know what he can do with these sort of situations. He got 1 on the exchange, and now 3v2. Happy is low, MBK not perfect either. Oh, but a beautiful position comes in between MBK and Keo. And, well, just Edward here. Orpa.
Yeah, it seemed like Na'Vi really wanted to speed things up, but didn't quite work out that well, to be honest.
No, definitely not. The positioning was just...
The CTs were playing aggressive downhill this time while they pushed, so it's like every single time, whatever Na'Vi decides to do, EnVy, they're going to be a step ahead of you.
Yeah, and that must wear mentally on you so heavy when you've just taken a timeout, you try to adjust, and then this happens. Happy gets the first round in the bag once again, and EnVy 11-2 now. This is starting to look almost unmanageable for the T side. They still have enough to buy up, so they're still trying to get something building for themselves. But as you said, it's when you start overthinking things, or you give time for the CT side also to read into how you might adapt. What's the obvious thing they might try? Okay, speeding up a little. All right, let's play for that. And you saw it. Envy not only reading their plays when they go for the all-in Bs by putting Keo in such a brilliant position, even just then, just reading them like a book. And Na'Vi have to keep themselves steady here because this is pretty much the ticket to the semi-finals. This is a huge moment. They fought back on Dust too. It'd be such a shame to see it crumble here, but Guardian getting taken so low so very early on is not going to help this.
No, definitely not. It's not going to, like, what was the statistic again? 93% of the round?
Yep.
That Guardian gets the first pick on. Na'Vi wins the round, so him being down to 15 HP this early on, not a good sign in that perspective.
Certainly not. Keo, MBK, and Smiths probably be seeing some action fairly soon if the T-side do commit, but already a smoke just being placed in the way by, I think that was quite possibly.
A lot of knowledge going to be. Shox is already lurking all the way to middle together with Happy, so they basically know by now it's going to be a P-push.
You can see that. The flash is already coming in. 40 seconds left. They are fully aware of where the T-side are heading towards. Smiths adjust towards drop. Gets seized. Keo finds Zeus, and there's nothing working for the T-side right now. And look around the back. Here come the reinforcements. Starix is surrounded on all fronts. There is nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. And Smiths closing it out. And you've got to say, Envy are playing a beautiful game at the moment.
Yeah, they are. That's something you cannot even explain. There's no, like, theory behind it. It's all instinctive. It's all about a feel. When things are just going right, they just keep going right. Yeah, it's not like they're being superhuman. It's just things falling directly to the right places all the time.
And I like the way that you pointed out, even when you don't see players, that gives you so much information because you know where they are and you can start focusing on where they are. But C's this time, opening up with a double, but the auto sniper with Smith could cause havoc, and it has. That's 2 in a row. And there's so few options here for the T side, but they're still clinging onto it. They have this auto sniper on towards C's. Maybe they could put it to work. Shox, pop flash in, gets the bomb down. That's Zeus destroyed, and now Seized goes down to 13-2. That is a harsh half for Na'Vi to deal with, but a great beginning for Envy in the final map.
It's one of those halves where Na'Vi, in hindsight, can think, you know, what could have been, what should have been. We should have had 6 rounds, because they could have, definitely could have.
There were so many moments they were so close to it seeming like it was theirs at times.
You got to remember, they even won the pistol round. Yes. And they ended up with 2. That's, you know, you don't call that a good half, that's for sure. When you win the pistol and you end up with 2.
Yeah, and the thing is, no one's not been present. That's the thing. Like, everyone's sitting on 8-6, but no one's been finding the entries. No one's been breaking into these sites. It's been methodical from the MV side, and it's just been so hard to get over with. And switching onto the other side, it's down to a pistol round pretty much, it seems.
Well, definitely. That's for sure. That really, Na'Vi needs to take the pistol round and then just steamroll. And you know, the only right approach at this point when you're 2-13 down is that you're just going to take it round after round after round, just one run at a time. Doesn't matter what happened previously. Don't think about what's going to happen next. Just focus on the task ahead on the next 1 minute, 45 minutes of each round. And I'm sure these guys are capable of that, but you know, it's definitely going to need a strong start. And the thing is that you don't really have any room for error, and that's always a tough situation to have.
There is no room for error. You've said it perfectly. If they slip once, one player doesn't hit that shot, doesn't hold that angle, makes the wrong call, it can spiral, and that's them done. That's it pretty much. And Envy get through to the semi-finals. This is what it comes down to. The next couple of rounds. I know these guys have been in this situation so many times on the Na'Vi side. They are truly veterans of not only this game, but so many others. And you've got to say the pressure for them is going to be pretty much as big as you can imagine. Now, prediction, where do you see this one going? First round, at least.
I hate predictions. Why are you putting me on the spot here?
Because I have to.
Well, Envy is probably going to win it. Win it out.
You reckon just straight from pistol they're going to get this?
Yeah, I'm gonna be really just that brutal and sad, but let's see how it works out.
Brutality might be the only way it works. So guys, we are into the second half, the final half of the final map here. Zeus finds NBK first. And well, the T side continue to push, flooding in towards the A bomb side. Shox searching around for C's trying to dial away, and already this is looking like a done deal as EnVy looking 1 foot in towards those semi-finals.
Yeah, it's a very, very hard retake. Stars needs to go wild, but nope. Sees 7 HP left. 1 on 2. Not the easiest task. He needs to literally one-tap both players.
Oh, you got a tag, maybe not the one tap.
Yeah, but these type of players are
7
not going to give the
bullets as
opportunity.
well.
Oh, wow.
He's got no bullets, he's trying to find a gun. He's finally got a Glock, the clock is against him. I think there was a kit around here, he might not get it, and it's going to be 14-2 now. It got close, but not close enough.
Yeah, closer than maybe he should have. Didn't have a kit that handy either, so you know he was running out of time there. It was not going to happen.
No. And we are seeing a big investment from the T side early on. Are we going to see those 2 Tech 9s, or are we going Galils for this one?
Yeah,
I think we're seeing the Galils.
Yeah, they know exactly the situation right now. Navi is going to pull it by, that's for sure.
They want job done rather than a risk, I assume.
So they're going to try to get us good equipment as possible. Getting the A-Gate and the Galils.
Let's see if any EnVy can show us how to do this T side to get themselves on match point here. Guardian catches a glimpse of one. He's in a lot of trouble now. Got a bit of a flash to slow him down, get himself out of there, and readjust. Seized will move up. Now Happy just spraying down towards Starix there. Happy does win out. We've only got C's so far making a dent for the CT side as the T's do start edging in towards A. This is looking like this could be match point, very much in the bag. Well, Zeus denies it, but last man in this one now, Edward. 1 by 1 they fell, and EnVy get themselves on towards match point now, 15-2. Na'Vi look like a shadow of them former selves in this one. I can't see them working their way in here.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I was really looking forward to them showing what they're capable of on this map, because I know they especially CT side and well, T side too. I've seen some really good stuff from them. So, but these 2 matches here at the tournament seem to have turned out into a horrible slaughter for them. And well, let's not, you know.
Let's see how it goes. C's might be able to turn the tide still. Takes down NBK and Keo. So maybe extending the pain if you want to put it that way. 3 still upstanding for EnVy. Make it 2 now. There's just Smiths and Shox here. They could do something. They could try and make it work. Guardian Steagle comes through.
There we go.
Now Smiths 1v5.
Yeah. Seems like Navi is going to scrape around here.
15-3 would be the longest comeback. I don't know if I'd seen a comeback in a major of this caliber yet.
Well, there's always...
I think there's been a few, but I don't think they've been on stream so far. So, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, Smiths does get 1 towards seized. Now Edward fancies his chances, and Edward will get it. 15-3. They do get a lot of guns out of this, at least.
Navi's thoughts right now is hope does last.
And there's that CZ, just doing what it does best, sitting close range, spraying them down. And a nice little pop flash to boot. So, 15-3.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a tall task.
It is, and I hope it doesn't get up with 3 Tech 9s and 2 Galils, but it may do. Team EnVy now buying what they can. They want to get this one done and dusted. They don't want to extend this out. They want to close this game. And it looks like they might be making an all-in play towards the B side. Zeus, Edward, Starix, Guardian, all here, present. If it's going to work, it has to work now. The CT side, they're trying to hold on. The smokes come in. Keo does get 1 down. It's looking a little bit shaky here. Shox follows towards Zeus. The T side are making this work. Edward, can you save your side once again? And 3 players stand for the Frenchman. Make it just 1 now for the CTs. The T side of EnVy look as though they've done just enough here in this final round. Edward makes of it what he can, but not going to hit that one. Happy closes it. 16-3 is the final scoreline here on Cobble. And at the end, it was just EnVy being the better team.
Yeah, definitely. It could have been a lot closer in the beginning, but it just wasn't meant to be. EnVy proving out to be a top 4 team once again. Not sure if they've been out of top 4 for the past how long it has been, and that magic is going to continue here at the ESL. Katowice.
Certainly is. And you can see that meant a lot to those guys. A great performance all around, though, and 3 maps that showed so much of these two teams that I'm glad we got to see. The Dust 2 that came out of Na'Vi was inspirational, and Guardian, such a key figure on Dust 2 that I think all of us will remember that for quite some time now. He's been so pivotal to that side. Na'Vi, sadly, just kind of shying away in that final map, didn't really show up, it felt, and it just got the ball rolling for EnVy, and it's a shame to see it close out in such a drastic scoreline, because it did feel a lot closer than how it ended.
Yeah, I mean, Na'Vi, again, in a tournament for them where they had a lot of ups but a lot of downs as well.
Yeah.
It seems like they're having a hard time to find that golden middle. But I guess they're just gonna go back to the drawing board and think it through again.
I think so, and they showed a hell of a lot through that game, and that one timeout showed that they do have variation, they do have a lot to bring to this, and that skill ceiling is yet to be met. I think we're yet to see the full potential of Na'Vi, at least in CSGO, in this sort of lineup. And I don't know, I think it's a shame that the last map ended like that, because I hope people don't forget the first 2 and how close they really were and how well they were played out really overall. But EnVy, if we now take EnVy into account, their performance in this, do they look like a team who can then make it through to the finals here?
Definitely. There's no way there's no way saying otherwise. I think being the defending champion of a major tournament, and just overall they've been, even though maybe shaky online, but at the tournament, like in LAN tournament play, they've always been really good, and they just seem to get better as the tournament progresses. So definitely a team to look out for.
Well, a team to look out for, and the man to look out for, I know, is waiting on stage. Sean, take it away.
Thank you so much, Pansy. Well, I'm joined by a man who needs absolutely no introduction here in Katowice, and that is Nathan NBK. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing extremely good right now.
You got to be feeling pretty pumped after that game.
Yeah, I mean, the whole game was very tight aside from the third map. We start things off on Cash. I think that was a map they didn't prepare that much. We start off very shaky, not really into the game. Going into the second side, well, we managed to win the very important rounds. Those 2, well, they fought extremely hard on that, and they completely earned it. That was very well played from them. Coming in Cobblestone, I think on both sides, it's a map that we didn't prepare 100%. But yeah, I think it was just the momentum after that 1-on-3 that Sharks got. And yeah, after that, we just got the match rolling. And yeah, we're very happy about how it went.
Now, I mean, in that game, you went 1 up, and then you kind of went back, and Na'Vi has a certain play style. I mean, were you always prepared to approach him that way?
Yes, I think the good thing with Na'Vi lately is that they changed their basics and they changed their play style. And I mean, they had some very solid rounds, and their key players were present when it was needed. But I think why the score was so big on the third map was that they didn't prepare the game that much on Cobble. But yeah, they have 2 very good maps, and I think it was a good show for everyone.
Now, the crowd's been absolutely fantastic here, cheering throughout.
Yes.
What was that like for you guys? I mean, can you hear that?
Oh yes, I mean, it's amazing. There was a group right in front of us that were screaming EnVyUs 24/7. And the good thing is it was on both sides. The good thing is it was on both sides. There was some persons cheering for Na'Vi and also for us. So I think it was just a very good game, and everyone was present. The public was amazing, and keep your voices, guys. You still have 2 matches to go.
2 more matches, guys, so make sure you're rooting. Thank you so much for joining us, Nathan. I really appreciate it. Now we're going to pass it over to a man. Some say that the only thing he smokes is mid, the machine.